Good intensity being shown before the opening bounce. It's Longer v Witts. And Longer wins it down decisively. Stephen with the opening clearance. Longer coming off 55 hitouts last week for Sandy to earn a recall. Opportunity here. Off the ground goes Noons, and it wasn't too far away.
Well, I saw Miller picking up Jack Stephen. Stephen got the early clearance, get him away.
So Weller goes long, and it's all St Kilda at the drop. Webster quickly away to Billings, and a little chip inside 50. Mark not paid. Billings coming off 54 touches last week in the VFL with Sandringham to earn an immediate recall. How will he go at AFL level this week? Armitage, the birthday boy, turned 30 today. Goes out towards Webster, who's on his wrong side. Gresham has to play on, finds a little bit of space to work with Billings, who gives it away. Young. Lynch has to get down low. Billings has another crack, getting his hands on it in the opening minute. Back to Webster, their elite user.
Too many missed tackles already, Speedy, for the Gold Coast's liking.
And they're the #1 tackling team in the competition as far as numbers are concerned, but that is not a good sign to start with.
McCartan a long way up the ground to get his hands on it. Goes back to Carlisle. Back from suspension this week. The former Bomber. A little bit of space for Ross. Almost looked like he was about to play on, but Bowes kept him honest.
Pretty crowded forward line. Trying to hit up a target is going to be difficult.
Just chips it. About 15 from home. And ghosting across is Jack Martin, who's so good overhead.
Yeah, great work from Jack Martin, but poor from the St Kilda deep forwards. There was no movement deep at all.
Martin called for that from Ainsworth, but he didn't push his luck. He's been playing pretty well in a losing side the last couple of weeks, Ben Ainsworth. Now Bowes, good poise, and Martin pops up again.
Get a good start, Martin, and Ainsworth, as you said. Easygoing talent, high calibre player, their best player last week.
Aaron Young kicked 2 of their 4 goals last week as they were routed by the Giants. Martin again inboard to Archie.
Better play here from the Suns. First time they're inside their forward 50.
This is dangerous. A ruckman on the run.
Forward half, I should say.
Not the kind of kick he was after, but there was still time for Witts to track it down and go inside 50, and that's a great rise and mark from Sam Day.
Those 2 players, both Witts and Day, have been very good this year. Witts has been outstanding since he crossed from Collingwood.
Day goes early, saw the 2-on-1. Tom Lynch couldn't stick it. And that's what he said to you, Lynchy, pre-game. He wanted to rise again.
Yeah, he wants to use his power. I mean, the problem he's had since late last year is this PCL injury in the knee, so he's lost a lot of power through the quad. He just doesn't get up off the ground as much as he used to.
Witts brings it down, and Steele is set upon.
That was a good passage of play, though. They'll get great confidence out of that. I think they just need a couple of early ones to settle them down. They've been able to score in general terms over the last month, so a couple of early goals would be just the tonic.
And a chance off the ground goes Ben Ainsworth for the first goal of the afternoon. A kid with real X-factor for the Suns.
Now, talk about what talent's coming through. Ben Ainsworth is a star. Billy Longer and Tom Lynch going head-to-head here, the 2 big men. Tom Lynch doesn't want to get frustrated. He had a couple of quiet weeks. We've seen him in this position before. Give away a little bit of a free kick and get reported, so he's got to be very careful. Here's the replay of the contest. Ainsworth keeps the ball in front and then toes it through. Nice finish.
Well, Carlisle just back from suspension, and Tom Lynch says, that got me in the jaw. How about a free kick from point-blank range? And the umpire says, not just yet.
There'd be very few St Kilda players that could get under the skin of Tom Lynch for playing poorly the last couple of weeks.
The old glass houses, I wouldn't think that they'd be saying much.
Stephen forced to go off the ground. A bit of soccer action on World Cup day for the Socceroos, of course. Ainsworth with the goal, and then Jack Stephen off the deck. It will stay in. And Holman goes inboard.
Nice running from Archie, good disposal. And once again, they've just settled pretty nicely and using the ball well.
And just see the extra spare defender from St Kilda dropping in front of Tom Lynch.
Lemons with his first kick of the year at AFL level. Picked up that hamstring problem in pre-season, then the scaphoid problem, and that's what he's in the team for. Pressure acts like that.
Yeah, very important from the Suns' point of view that they put their head over the ball when the ball's in dispute, but also when they turn it over, they must be really quick to get to that defensive mindset.
Witts works the front position, trying to bring it down for Swallow or Lions. Dunstan just dropped it out the back. And it's all too tight there.
Been an interesting selection approach with Jared Lyons. Lynchy started the first 5 weeks absolutely on fire. He was right up there with magnificent numbers, then fell away badly, and they finally lost patience with him. Back in the side today.
Yeah, one of their very best players in his first year last year, once crossing from the Crows.
Armitage gets the whistle. Yeah, Lions had 38 touches, a goal and 8 tackles last week in the knee foot to earn his recall. Ross plays on and found a little bit of room courtesy of the Shepherd, and then goes back into the back of his own teammate there. It came off Webster, and the Suns are back inside 50.
It was a poor kick, but at the same time, Webster had his back to the ball carrier from 5 metres away, and the ball slammed into the back of him. Just sound asleep.
Pretty slow on the turnover. I know it was an unexpected turnover, but the defensive running was non-existent from those players in and around the area.
Bad news already for the Saints. Jimmy Webster's just gone down into the rooms with the head physio.
Martin couldn't get through the tackle of Billings. So Webster, who's been such a gun for them, a shining light in recent weeks.
Yeah, one of their most talented players. Had a few injury concerns, and that's probably why he wasn't paying attention. Very dejected, and that looks like he's holding his groin there, so that would be bad news.
Good spoil over the top from Leslie. McCartan gets after it once more and comes out with it too. Paddy McCartan out against his little brother last week. And as the Swans were all over them in the opening turn. Gresham floats one over the top to Steve, and the Saints look to run. Battle, he presented well last week too. Handball a little behind Nunes. Stephen tried to tow it through again. Swallow went to the voice. Saints had a 3-on-1 potential there. Good tackle by Steele. Poked inside 50. Weller on the up to Dunstan, who got a shout from Longer. He goes to the one-on-one contest. Membry against Thompson, who played it well. Billings at ground level. And Battle on the turn. Can he steer it home? There's the answer from the Saints.
Well, they made hard work of that, Jetta. They were running through their forward 50, and just a handball behind their teammate put them under pressure. And here's a good contest. Really good spoil from Rory Thompson, but St Kilda are well set up on the outside, and that's a nice finish from Battle. Really nice around on the left foot.
Interested in your thoughts, though, on the spoil. I reckon he overcooked it. Probably hit too far away from the body. He's poised.
Well, the Swans had 9 on the board before St Kilda responded last week. This time they go goal for goal, and Josh Battle, the 19-year-old, playing just his 3rd game of footy. He had a couple of goals last week, and he's on the board early this afternoon. Dunstan had a bit of time to go long. This should be a free kick, and it is.
Hold of the arm. Sloppy. An uncontested clearance, really, against the Suns on that occasion. They've just got to put a lot more pressure on the Saints when coming out of the middle of the ground.
Joyce just had the arm chopped by Sinclair. Up goes Lynch again. Carlisle got the effective spoil in, and Rice, I think he was looking for the boundary line, helped out by Aaron Young claiming it.
A really good contest between Carlisle and Tom Lynch, two very big athletic players that at their best are in that elite group in the competition. Tom Lynch just off his best at the moment.
Yeah, they missed Carlisle last week, and they had to go up against Buddy. Even Rice, in his infancy in AFL, had to spend some time on Franklin.
Yeah, absolute most experienced and best. You don't want to be going up against Bud.
Ross scoops it out of there. Weller, clever, brought it down for Armitage. Pokes it over the top down the line to Gresham, holding off Riscatelli. Played it well. Gresham couldn't quite link with Nunes. On the up for Weller. And a stab inside 50 is an absolute ripper to find Lynch on the chest.
And good work off the ball from Michael Rischitelli, just to not allow his opponent to turn him around and keep the ball in front. And nice finish from Luke Weller. It's a big talking point over the summer. Exchanged for pick 2 in the draft. Now this for the Suns, and probably more importantly for Tom Lynch, needs to go through. Will be a huge lift.
He kicked 8 in round 2 against the Blues, just 7 goals since. Here is goal number 250 in the AFL for Tom Lynch. A confidence-boosting strike.
Yeah, confidence-boosting, as I said, not just for the club, but for Tom Lynch as well. He's been well down this season, really. He's had a quieter 18 months than he's compared to his 2016 form. That was a beautiful pass from Lockie Weller. Lace out, and Tom Lynch from just outside 50. He's absolutely flushed that one. And a really good start from the Gold Coast Suns. And importantly, Tom Lynch, he's been in the contest on numerous occasions, hasn't been able to mark the ball, but that was honouring a very good lead by an outstanding kick.
Well, their disposal efficiency is right up there. They are chipping it short a lot, but they are not making too many mistakes ball in hand. Where they have got to improve, though, are clearances around the ground. It's 7-1. Make that 8-1.
Billings looking to complete it, and does. Gets it on the outside to Ross. Keeps them rolling. Austin stabs it, and the kick a little errant. It just sliced to the favour of Ballard.
Good kid, this one, Lynchy. He shows plenty. Reads the ball well, backs himself in.
Already earned a contract extension as well. Got another 2 years this week, did Ballard. Now Ross had to get rid of it. Put Austin under the pump, and the Suns gather around the ball. Lions unable to link with Young.
They're just sloppy from Lions. Just had the opportunity to flick it up to Young, and they were out.
What's been impressive, though, is the gang tackling. You saw it on screen there. Saints had a couple of free players, and they just collapsed in on them. And, well, they should have won the ball back. They gave it back themselves.
Blitz again. Luke Miller scrapping for it. Bowes able to retrieve it and go back to Harbrow. Another inside 50. They're kicking with the breeze in this opening term, the Suns. Bit of friendly fire, and Lynch avoids any major drama.
Well, a couple of key matchups. Mav Weller is playing a defensive forward role on Jared Harbrow. Steele is going to Swallow, and Touk Miller is going to Jack Stevens for the Suns.
Brought down again by Witts. Well read by Sinclair off the boot.
Minus 18 last week in clearances, in trouble early now.
Armitage hooks the kick to the advantage of Membry, who was looking the other way. How good was that from the veteran Armitage? And now they're going to go long. 2-on-1 situation brewing here, but Harbrow read it on the breeze. Couldn't complete the mark, though, so Battle got into the battle down low and keeps some pressure on Harbrow. Now Joyce does well in the tight, and Harbrow can get it outside. Defensive 50. Lynch, 2-on-1 situation. That ball won't be coming out. Umpire says, I'll have it.
Nick, interested in your thoughts on St Kilda. For most of the season, they would appear to have been playing an assertive defence, but tonight it does look as if they're playing more back shoulder. Yeah,
it sure does. They are back shoulder. They're normally very proactive, 10, 15 metres in front of their direct opponent, trying to really squeeze and compress the ground. But as we look out, particularly to the back half, they are back shoulder on all their opponents one-on-one.
We just saw some vision of Jimmy Webster just warming up in front of the physio down in the room. So hopefully for St Kilda fans, he'll be back out there shortly.
Do you see many come back from a groin situation, though?
Well, that warm-up, he hadn't convinced me just yet. So he's got a bit of work to do, I would have thought.
Billings has to be quick. Lynch was hunting him down. And Rischitelli able to take it uncontested.
And these clearance numbers continue to rack up. 10-2.
Rischitelli told to play on, so he goes to Lynch.
It's just not a good starting point to start in the game when you're on the receiving end of clearance after clearance coming into your back line. At this stage, it hasn't really done any damage, but they've got to turn this around quickly.
1.5 wins for St Kilda, 3 wins for the Suns so far in 2018. Bowes gets in and under. Dunstan. Young crashes in. Dunstan gets it eventually on the up to the youngster, Hunter Clark.
Dangerous kick.
Sexton getting after it with McKenzie. Now Holman and McCartan. Look how far from home Paddy is. It's a hot footy right now. Sinclair set upon. Leslie just hacks the kick. Lynch trying to get it up to Martin. McKenzie again. Hot footy around the corner. One for Ainsworth to chase. How's the bounce? He gets there comfortably. There's Ainsworth around the corner, and it's all St Kilda. And the mark taken safely by Austin.
Blind kick there by Ainsworth. He had the release for the handball, which I think if he had his time again, he would have taken. That's a throw. Great tackle.
Rewarded.
Good pressure here, Lynchy, from the locals.
It is, yeah. They're tackling pressure up, as it has been for most of the year. But they're getting numbers to a contest, so that is really important.
Leslie to the forward pocket. Witts Rose. Clark goes inboard. Trusted Billings to link with Armitage, and now Rice can hit Nunes on the chest.
Great kick. That's exactly the type of disposal you want coming out of the back half.
Just his 5th game in the AFL, Rice, but that's why he's back there. Good disposal. His dad was a handy player, 100 games with a couple of clubs.
Tuke Miller is just in the face of Stephen the whole game. He's pushing and shoving and grabbing his jumper.
Ross taking the game on. He had no one to hit either, so if he had his time again, he would have gone back over the mark.
Yeah, and great tackling pressure once again. And as you said, Tuke Miller, he's done some really good jobs, Jared, this year. One that stands out was on Zorko against the Brisbane Lions, held him to only a handful of touches as the Ross incorrect disposal.
Lynch asking for a free kick. Goes the other way.
And a little quick update on Jimmy Webster. He's gone back into the rooms. He's trying to get that, looks like the right adductor warmed up. They're giving him every opportunity to get right, as there's a long way of this game to go, but he needs to get through a lot more than what he's currently doing to be convincing to come back onto the field.
An activated adductor is the focus for Webster right now as Clark goes back to Savage. He's getting plenty of it down back this season. Career high in possessions per game. Ross has to beat a couple. Gave it up to Lyons, and now Holman down the line. Finds his man on the chest. Lemons back inboard, looking for Sexton.
That's a beautiful weighted pass. Didn't just blaze away when going inside 50 from Shawnee Lemons. Just weighted it out, 40-metre pass in front of Alex Sexton, who is a nice long kick of the ball. Will get this journey quite easily. Just look down in the rooms with the doctor and the physio, Jimmy Webster, and doesn't look confident at all. That's maybe a dejected Jimmy Webster, actually.
Sexton, 8 goals, 7 so far this season. Breeze at his back. Starts it at the right post. And it goes deep into the stand for another one for the home team.
He's a handy inclusion, is Sean Lemons. When he first came over from Port Adelaide Magpies, he played predominantly off the half-back line, but he plays as almost a defensive forward role. But this is the class of the man here. We saw that weighted pass out in front of Alex Sexton, and another man that's played in a number of positions in his time at the Gold Coast Suns can finish beautifully from long range. Yeah,
it's a good combination up forward, and you're right about Lemons. He was one of the shining lights early. Yeah, in that JLT, when Stewie Dew first took over, you could just see that Lemons had bought in, and this is the big news of the day, Del. Webster looks like he's cooked for the evening. Yeah,
and it appeared that the head physio, Andrew Wallace, has come out and relayed the message to Alan Richardson, and they're getting some ice ready for that adductor. Bad news for the Saints.
Yep, not what Richo wants, losing Webster, the elite user, off half-back. Wonder if that puts his bye-week trip down to Tassie to hunt some deer in jeopardy.
It does put us in enormous jeopardy. He'll be seeing the physio. I think he might still sneak off for a couple of days.
Billings again, getting his fair share in the opening term, but it's 3 goals to 1. Coming off last week's poor first quarter showing. Slips out of the tackle, does Nunes, and it's near side.
They must capitalise here in so many aspects of the game: contested possessions, clearances, and importantly disposals. They're well up on the Gold Coast Suns, but just the Gold Coast are using the ball better and very efficient when they go inside 50.
What do you reckon the breeze is worth, Dal?
Definitely worth a couple towards the Gold Coast Suns, maybe 1 or 2. Dunstan
goes wide to Brown. Past the concussion protocol during the week after being ruled out in the second half last week, after copping that accidental elbow from Rampy. Gresham plays on. Again, one-on-one, the target down forward, and the umpire picks out a free kick. Set shot coming up.
Yeah, Jack Martin just taking hold of the arm and gave away the free kick.
They need to support each other there. Martin was left one-on-one with a bloke who's much stronger than him. He needed somebody to come over the top and spoil, create a 2-on-1 situation. You can see there the umpires all weekend have been on the money on this. So much arm grabbing, and they're giving no leeway whatsoever.
That's what he's kicking into. A bit of a cross breeze, as you can see. So Cam Nunes' conversion rate hasn't been great this year. He struck that perfectly, and they're going all right into it in this first term.
Well, they seem to be dominating most parts except for the scoreboard. And we just see here this marking contest. Nunes initiates his contest, and Jack Martin wraps the arms around, but Jared Harbrow was the man in close proximity to actually get up and kill the contest and knock the ball straight over the line. But it looks like St Kilda are happy to have two players at the top of the goal square. Yeah. They're allowing the ball to be just bombed in long.
And you can see there what we've been talking about. The clearance numbers are absolutely in favour of St Kilda. You'd expect that they get more inside 50s off the back of it, but they haven't been able to utilise their dominance.
Another one. A lot of their clearances have come out the back of the stoppage. They've had the hook around.
And 4 of them to the reigning BNF. Seb Ross. McCartan couldn't quite complete the mark. McKenzie v Martin. Good tussle. And Martin wins out.
Well, they're out here.
The pace of Miller. Schoenfeld was being held onto by Clark, who played it cleverly if the umpire didn't spot it. Still going Schoenfeld, and Savage just burned him off.
Yeah, great support from Savage as well.
Pretty crafty by the 19-year-old. Hunter Clark able to slow Schoenfeld down a couple of times and not catch the umpire's eye.
Crossed out of his lane, you think, Speedy?
Spot the hard tag. Stephen now up to 7 possessions.
Lovely kick weighted by Gresham to the advantage of Steele. Seb Ross leading all possession getters so far into double figures with 11. And Battle wins another one. Goes quickly to Armitage. He can go to Billings if he wants to, and does. 2 on 2. McCartan brings it down. Can he finish it off? Paddy at ground level. A welcome sight for Saints fans.
And nice work from McCartan. It was Jack Leslie in that contest. He's just dropped the ball down to the front and allowed McCartan to stay in the contest with plenty of space. So had to be spoiled towards the boundary line.
Let's just take a look at one of their clearance numbers. It's pretty clear that they need to address this. Here's a centre clearance, and just have a look at how one side of this is. Aaron Young is with Dunstan. He's got to stay with him, and yet he just allows that 2-metre gap and gets killed. So they've got to tighten up in these clearances around the ground, in particular at the centre clearance. If you're playing man on man and you're going to take the defensive role, you've got to stay in that mindset.
Trying to get a running start at it was Swallow, but he was being sweated on by Steele, and now Stephen thought about the bounce and then held the ball and didn't get the kick he was after to McCartan, who should get a free kick and does against Leslie. Goes quickly inboard, and Swallow gets back.
Players have actually got to adjust now. The prior opportunity is so diminished that you are at times better off just paddling the ball forward until you can rid yourself of the potential tackler.
Martin trying to rise, brought it to ground level. Rice recovered the situation pretty well. Now Holman, and that's almost incorrect disposal it is.
And a good tackling pressure, and they're away again, the Saints.
Quickly through Clark.
A few worrying concerns now for the Suns.
Stephen finding space. He was held to just 13 touches last week against the Swans. George Hewitt did a job on him. But Stephen, that was his least disposal since the game against the Suns, back when he got the green vest, and he only had 11. That's how long ago it was. Leslie, 3-on-2 that time.
Well, Leslie was the extra in defence because his man had interchanged, so he was able to just push over and become the extra.
Ballard goes up the middle. Tom Lynch caught his eye and was a pretty good choice in the end.
The spare out in the wing. It's good use from Tom Lynch. Adjusted at the last second.
Yeah, he could have gone to this guy, Schoenfeld.
Good running here by Lynch. This is the sort of output we're used
50.
to seeing from this kid.
50-metre penalty. I think that's against Brown, is it? Nathan Brown just ran into the protected zone. He felt that he was chasing Tom Lynch, but the umpire disagreed.
Well, Lynch was that far ahead of him. He probably needed to address
So
him.
here it is again. So he's chasing. He's caught. He knew he was in trouble. He tried to hand over Tom Lynch, but this is a massive penalty.
Especially when it feels like it's about 60 and not 50.
Yeah.
I think Schoenfeld's got a decent little rise inside forward 50 here. They were almost better off if they just got the play-on call for Lynch to surge, but Schoenfeld now can't quite bring it back enough.
So a couple of those key numbers we spoke about pre-game, and the Gold Coast Suns are -16 contested ball and -12 in clearances. That has to take its toll at some stage. That's a huge discrepancy.
He said it was all about mindset. The effort hasn't been there the last couple of weeks for the Suns. Stewie Dew looking for a reaction. He might need to spark one at quarter time. Good climb by Bowes to meet it at its highest point.
And a good mark in front of the two big ruckmen.
Top 10 draft pick a few years back, Bowes. Free kick against Carlisle.
And Carlisle just lost contact and has reached out for the jumper and given away the free kick. He felt that he was in all sorts of strife, and he was. His opponent, Holman, was about to take a chest mark.
Slight variation on the kick to that area. It wasn't a high kick. And the fact that it was a low kick meant that Carlisle was never going to make up the distance. He was second to it, and it's probably going to cost him a goal.
Holman does convert his third goal of the season, and the Suns are back in front.
Yeah, spot on, Gerard. A really well-weighted kick, low, just at 10 metres short. So the pack was short. And just like Carlisle sitting at the top of the goal square now with his opponent, Holman goes forward to go at the short kick. Carlisle knew he was in strife. The left arm came out just to grab the back of the jumper. And there it is there. An obvious free kick.
And there was an initial hold as well by the hand. He got away with that one and then had another crack.
Yeah, he knew he was in all sorts of strife. He was caught in the blocks, asleep.
90 seconds until quarter time.
No, clearance.
Trademark stuff from Armitage.
Same issue.
Dunstan on the follow-up. Again, a one-on-one contest. Membry had it killed over the top by Thompson. Little fumble. Armitage again. Clever. Good vision. Didn't quite get it far enough, though.
The big numbers back.
So Lockie takes it away from Maverick as the Wellers go head-to-head this afternoon. Martin. Oh, a little slip.
Dangerous.
Free kick goes his way. High contact, and Armitage had only one choice to hit him that high.
So he'll have to come back. But that issue is back to these clearances. Aaron Young, for the second time, has just allowed his man to walk through the clearance with the ball.
Not sure Aaron Young at his best has been a noted clearance player. Obviously just trying to change a few things up.
Joyce.
Oh, that's high.
Free kick over the top. And Clark on Archie, who plays on. They know time is ticking away in this first term. Not quite enough room for Day to get involved.
Here's Jack Martin, slips, then Armitage goes low, and that's high contact. He tried to go low, but the fact that Martin had already slipped over was always going to be tough to miss his head.
Martin wasn't expecting a free kick, though, was he? He was trying to make out that he was trying to get it clear. Armitage again. Been a solid return from the birthday boy. Goes high. Ballard has to go, and so does Membry from the side.
You've got to be patient here. Must use the ball short. Jared Harbrow's the spare back, 50 metres from this kick. So that's the correct option. Just use the ball short and avoid the spare.
Now the first quarter comes to an end. Richo has made his way down for an important team talk. His team will have the breeze in the second term. They trail by one straight kick. It's 4-2 to 3-2. Let's get down to Nick Dalzana.
Well, as I come through the St Kilda race in their bench, I look at Jimmy Webster being consoled. He's got that right adductor ice, not good signs. But what is good signs? And Alan Richardson must be happy. They gave up 9 goals in the first quarter last week. Not tonight. They're winning contested possession, clearances and tackles. I'm sure that'll be the key messages at quarter time from the senior coach.
There was great intensity from both teams in that first quarter. It's all on the line today, isn't it, at Metricon? And it's 1 goal the difference at quarter time.
Peter Wright played in the twos as he has for a majority of the year.
Kicked the first 2 goals of the game, so maybe he's starting to knock on the door again in the NEFL today. 2-metre Peter. There's no time to get the first clearance out. Took Miller was all over Jack Stephen, so we'll go again. Suns midfield group may have been challenged by Stewie Dew at quarter time. Longer just pushed Witts out of the way at the expense of a free kick.
It's really interesting psychology, the clearances. When you get smashed, and you can then go to a position of let's prevent your man getting the ball. At the moment, I see 3 Suns, at most centre clearances at least, trying to prevent their man getting the ball, which means no one is trying to win the ball.
Harbrow wants it again. First off Witts and then Thompson. Looking for Young, drops it into space. Lovely weight on the kick from Harbrow. Young goes early. It's going to elude Lynch. Off hands at the back. How's the finish from Lyons? Couldn't quite work it back enough.
Made a good fist of it. Again, another player that's been in the twos for a month. And the other positive from the first quarter from the Suns' point of view is they had 3 forward 50 marks. They had 0 last week. As we said pre-game, 0 in a game is the first time in 20 years that's happened for a team.
Rice eventually finds his mark in McKenzie. He had support.
They should have done better there, the Suns. That was a gift. They just didn't take it. From that kick out, they had 2 players there that could well have intercepted that. So the Saints got away with one there.
Umpire waiting for the ruckman to get there. Eventually Longer and Witts made up the ground, and Armitage just took it away from Lyons. Free kick has been spotted. It's a throw against Armitage, so advantage paid to Young. Brought it down cleverly, did Day, and now Lemons out of traffic. A little banana to finish it all off.
What a goal.
He does impact the scoreboard as well.
That's
it was
a
defensive role that he's been put there for over the last 18 months, really. And this is good positioning. He's got the 2 big men under the ball, Tom Lynch and Sam Day. They get the ball to the ground, which is good work from Sammy Day. Good contest from Holman, and that's the class, just to get out into a bit of space. And a little checky on the right slipper, and that is a really nice finish at the start of this second term. Still a lot of things going against the Suns, but they're on the scoreboard.
So lemons and bananas do go together.
Well, they're not often, but that'll do.
That was a great goal. A couple of arm tackles by the Saints would have got the ire of the coach.
Here's Stephen, another clearance coming up. Armitage.
But again, it's only out the back, so it's not hurting as much as the exit through the front.
Stephen racking them up, leading possession, get on the ground after those 2 quick-fire ones. Now Gresham, banana. Can't answer in kind.
But they have to rectify that, Jeddah. You've been looking at through the quarter-time break. There is some real holes in the structure for the Gold Coast Suns around all stoppages.
Well, I think primarily, as I said, they're trying to prevent their man getting the ball, and so no one's trying to win it.
And once you go into survival mode, you're in all sorts of strife.
That said, they're doing pretty well. They're hanging in there without getting any freebies from that area.
And Lynch gets it back, and he knows Sexton's in space. Tries to lower the eyes. Little overhit. Eventually found its way to Young. Lynch for another follow-up effort, and Brown kept on going with him.
And the umpire was tempted as well there.
That might be a free kick. It's play on for Lynch. And they've got the first 2 goals of the second term into the breeze.
Now, this is a quality goal, and I love the effort of Aaron Young. I think that's his go. I don't think the clearances work as his go. We've got a few examples, but let's just have a look at this for a couple of efforts. This was a goal that the Saints should have prevented. They had the numbers there, and yet it was a couple of efforts by Aaron Young. There's another one. Comes back, gets involved again, gets out of the way of the skipper, and they get a good goal.
Yeah, great confidence-building goal again for Tom Lynch. His second and third efforts were very good in that situation as well.
And he's leading from the front today, no doubt about it, Tom Lynch, as they open up a little 3-goal buffer, the home team. A lot expected when you saw the ins and outs this week that St Kilda, it was their game to win, to try and respond to the pressure on their coach.
Well, both midfield should have a lot of confidence going forward. They've both got 6v6 in their own forward line, so go forward knowing that you'll get at least a contest.
A little flick over the top. Tough to track down. Martin showed strength to get the handball away. Dunstan flicked it up, and Rice couldn't get it too far. Ainsworth, and he was set upon immediately by McKenzie.
Lynchy, the Saints have had 125 possessions. The Gold Coast have had just 87. And yet every time they go inside the forward 50, they're looking as if they're a chance to score.
And that is the difference. That last possession going inside 50, much higher quality for the Suns.
Another clearance from Ross that time. Ballard goes back where it came from. Well done by Archie. Created the contest and then got it to Sexton. Doesn't take the bounce, stabs it low. They've got another one, and Sexton's got a couple.
Once again, as you said there, the quality of the ball going inside forward 50 has been the major difference, and staying in the contest. Now, Archie was well out of that contest, went back with a flighted ball. The temptation is to jump back and give a free kick away, but he did enough to get a hand in, bring the ball to ground. They're fantastic ground level support, and Sexton, that's a really high quality finish. And the Suns are up and going now, and there's 4 goals the difference, and some worrying concerns, so huge concerns now for the Saints.
He assessed it well, didn't he, Sexton? He was thinking bounce, he was thinking pass, and then he said, I can just go for home.
Yeah, no, good work from Sexton, great work from Archie.
Look at that, the last 4 goals in a row from the home team. 6 of the last 8.
Again, out the back clearance.
Billings, steady. Longer, quickly to Ross. Bounce important here. Let's have a little slap down to Weller. And that kick was pulled nicely in a free kick as Harbrow went under Gresham. Saw Lynch hit one from a similar angle in the first quarter.
He should have no problems with the distance at all. Just left of centre, should just fade back on the breeze.
Lots of blocking going on for the forwards in the goal square. Suns have got a spare in case someone chips.
He is their leading goal kicker so far in 2018 with 20 goals. Gresham hooks it a little this time. Won't make the distance.
Tried to overkick that one, and big pull.
Couple of behinds to his name so far this evening. Bowes with the kicking in duties. That's a little hooker too, right under the chest of Carlisle.
Did that well, Carlisle. Used the body, got away. And they need more out of Sam Day than that.
Carton tries to crash in, and Membry plucks it over a couple.
He's about 3 deep. Membry with some quality defenders in that group as well. As it plays on.
A bit sloppy here, the Suns. They've just let the concentration go. And the Saints, who are under scoreboard pressure as much as just the pressure of the occasion, given that they've won just the 1 game for the season, have had a couple of minutes. This needs to go through clearly and get themselves back and
just that
with some forward momentum.
Reward for effort. They're working hard. The contested ball, have to convert.
So Dunstan from beyond 50, he kicks, and it's a minor score. What do you make of Membry giving up the shot? He's kicked his last 9 straight. He's in form.
Well, he's obviously not a true full forward. Yeah, he's in form, and he shouldn't be giving them off. No, it was only a 45-degree angle. It wasn't that tight.
And in the end, Dunstan had the kick from beyond 50. Archie, great hands. He's a clean player.
She's having a good game, Archie.
Yeah.
Hits Lynch, lace out. Back to Weller. He'll set up Lynch for his first goal this afternoon, and hits another teammate on the chest inside 50. This time it's Bowes.
I'm not sure that was deliberate, but it looked like, in the end, a beautiful pass onto Jack Bowes' chest.
Geez, that ball movement has been impressive. We've spoken about some inefficiencies around stoppage, but when they've won the ball, they've been really good to watch.
They just burst forward, and some really good signs from that point of view, how they've been able to run the ball forward. They've had the 19 inside 50s and been converting nicely.
Doesn't want to get distracted by the stunning sunset on the Gold Coast. He has. He sliced it.
Well, it was a shame he missed that goal because the ball movement coming in has been really good. But the thing that I've loved is the forward running patterns. Last week they were very stagnant and got overawed, I think, by the GWS defence. But not tonight. There's movement. Someone coming up with the ball, someone going away from it in that case, and then someone sliding across.
Clark plays on to Sinclair. And that's going to lead to a turnover, or nearly. Sinclair able to follow up. Hunter Clark sold himself into trouble. Lynch. What a finish. Right into the teeth of it. And he punched it low like a 2-iron stinger, and they've got another one.
On the back of tackling pressure, first it was Bowes who put the first hand on. And then he had a couple of teammates get involved. And you see Lynch once again. Bowes comes from behind, whips it out to a teammate, and then a great finish by the man of the moment, Tom Lynch.
That's a class finish. And the build-up, she said, putting pressure on St Kilda. They're plus 40 in disposals, but every time they try to kick, they're under enormous pressure. Some positive signs for the Suns, some concerns for the Saints coach. And Richo is barking instructions down to the bench.
Is his message getting across? That is the query right now. Dunstan. McCartan presents. What's the decision? Free kick against him for going into the back of Joyce.
Yeah, he just didn't lay a hand on the ball at all, so they're saying unrealistic jump at the contest. Just need to make a better fist of that. And again, that was another clearance, but no reward.
The Suns have been inside forward 56 times this quarter. They've scored every single time, 4 goals, 2.
Amazing.
That's almost a summary of the game, just much more efficient when going forward.
Didn't they have 4 goals, 2 last week, all told?
Oh, there's a lot wrong with last week. There's a lot wrong with last week for both teams.
High ball. Carlisle, great hands under pressure from Young. Goes quickly to Ross. And here comes the pace of Jack Stephen. Had to go a little higher than he wanted to.
Gee, that's just a bomb. He had a reasonable amount of time and space, had to do better than that.
Yeah, there was no understanding of what's going on between the St Kilda forwards. You had McCartan pushing his own teammate in the back.
Well, for the most part, and in the first quarter we saw it as well, they're happy to go long St Kilda, but it's not working for them. We've got a problem down here. One of the St Kilda players has gone down heavy.
Yeah, McKenzie.
Oh, good man.
Holding a shoulder. So they're getting out to him eventually, the physio. Lemons again, chips it. Bowes goes back to Lemons for another crack, and again he tries to put it to the advantage of a teammate. Getting after it at ground level is Archie. Can he finish it off?
Oh, yeah.
Again, the Suns.
Well, another one of the 15 first-round draft picks on the Gold Coast Suns list. Archie is a class player, and he's had a very good night so far. Just his composure. Here's the injury concern, and just going down there, McKenzie, whether it was his shoulder or got a head knock. Have a look at the finish from, good work from Bowes to be involved, but Archie just to finish off the work is a really good finish. Good pace to get into space.
He only had the 1 goal this season before that effort, and last year he kicked 12 goals, 3. This year he was at 1 goal, 3 before that.
Yeah,
6
he's
goals
been
in a row.
and been playing off half back since he's returned to the team mostly.
The number 1 possession winner for the Suns is 9 with Jared Lyons. St Kilda got Ross with 15, Billings 14, Stephen 13, Armitage 11, Dunstan 10, and yet they're getting belted at the present time.
Stephen again. Gresham was in trouble, threw it out.
Yeah.
The umpire was well positioned.
This Gold Coast pressure is taking its toll on the Saints now. Their efficiency with the ball on those critical kicks has been poor.
And look at Holman cruise into space. Oh, great hands.
Well, this has been one of the moves that has helped him. He's got away from clearances where he was a bit at sea for mine.
Well, that was probably the key move. This has worked.
And in the forward line, he's added pressure. He's had a couple of handy possessions, and he gets an opportunity to nail one.
His best football at Port Adelaide in the forward half was first class.
Can't quite add to the sequence. They've kicked the last 6 in a row. The Suns.
I didn't quite think that one through. Started it close enough to the right goal post. The wind was always going to push that away from the goal.
Kick-in duty for the teenager. Picked 7 in last year's draft. Hunter Clark eventually goes. Out the back again is Sinclair. Been a little quiet by his standards, and no chance to gather as Lions slapped it away. He's on his way down midway through the second term. Richo.
Well, it's nearing case of emergency break glass. He's looking for a cabinet with a glass face to break at the moment. There's some major concerns for the Saints on the scoreboard.
Lions hunting another inside 50, not quite, and Lemons escorts it across the boundary line.
And the chat to his players, just reinforcing instructions, trying to get a feel of what is actually going on the field, or where, more to the point, where is it falling down?
If you joined us late or just recently, you saw Webster out the back with a jacket on. He's done for the night with a groin problem.
They pushed Jack Stephen into the forward 50 by himself, trying to just get a little bit of a change at ground level in there. He's the quickest player probably on the ground.
The St Kilda fans who've made the journey with some ironic cheers as McCartan got a free kick. Again, it's a 2-on-2 situation. Deep forward, an effective spoil. And now Holman goes quickly.
Again, they kick it inside the forward 50 and they get no possession. They've had just 4 possessions inside their forward 50 this quarter, St Kilda.
Well, they're all long bombs. They're all very predictable to the defensive team that are dropping off to support their fellow defenders. And again, the Suns set up off half-back. They've been very efficient when having to rebound from intercepts.
Bowes, his body really has filled out in the last 6 months or so, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's had a pretty good season, even from game 1 when it was basically under a metre of water up in Cairns. Had the 21 disposals and 1 goal. A fine display, and he's been pretty consistent.
Has Cairns dried out since round 1?
No, it should be right to go in about 3 weeks, I reckon.
Longer against Witts. Gresham says, I'll have that. Schoenfeld and Austin looked at one another. Bowes got down low and they surge forward again. Lynch leading Brown to it. Clever little turn inside by Lynch. Couldn't quite link up with Holman, who applied the tackle. That's part of his brief. Armitage gave it up to Lyons. Tries to go underground and it's read better by Steele. Comes back inboard. There's space in the corridor for the Saints to take it and go. Gresham delays the handball cleverly. Armitage, 1 out deep is McCartan. Couldn't stick it. Well played by Leslie. You want to get rid of it now. He's in big trouble, Jack Leslie. They'll get away with it.
Yeah, they slaughtered that one, the St Kilda, going inside 50. They had a spare player running through the 50-metre arc all by himself. Would have had a walk-in goal. But again, just kick it blazing away, kicking long to where they're outnumbered.
I think Leslie is a bit confused about the pressure release. He should have knocked that straight over the line.
Yeah.
The mark completed by Day. They're looking to play on and stream forward the Suns. Holman onto his left boot. Tried to stretch, did Lynch. Sexton at ground level. Tough to convert from there, surely not. And Armitage can rush it through.
I think that's what Alan Richardson said as well. Surely not. Surely that's not going to go in.
Well, he needs a response from his group now.
Well, composure with the ball. looking to play on a regular basis, but just not efficient here.
It's okay to talk about in the press during the week that it's the players' fault and letting the coach down. Well, it's these 2 hours that you give some sort of credibility to the words.
How well did Miller do to find Harbrow, who surges out of defensive 50 in trademark fashion. McCartan able to keep the pressure on. Martin works it out, goes inboard to Swallow. And Lynch has to chase.
1 on 3 for Lynch.
Armitage.
He's used to those numbers.
Yes.
But their ball movement has been really good. They just let themselves down
kick.
now.
Steele pulls it to the advantage of Gresham. That's a great entry.
It's the one time. It's the one time where they've let themselves down there. The Gold Coast going inside forward 50, and it's potentially a 2-goal swing. It should have been 1 at their end, and we get an around the corner kick.
Do you approve?
Well, as long as you've practiced it.
He is their leading goal kicker this year, and Gresham does finish it off around the corner. A circuit breaker finally for the Saints.
And yeah, they did. There's that reward for effort. Again, we saw a long pass into the forward 50, but it was out in front of Gresham. Here's the ball movement off half-back. One gets out over the top into space, and they've had this on a regular basis, not so much from the corridor, but that is a perfectly weighted kick. Out in front of the lead-in forward, no chance for the defender. And as we see so often these days with the modern footballer, well drilled on the kick around the body. Very handy goal.
Kicked 6 straight against Richmond not that long ago, Jay Gresham. One of the best for the Saints so far in 2018. Look at all those disposals again, dominating in that stat, but behind where it counts by 5 straight goals right now. Well played by Riscatelli and Harbrow. Savage favoured by the kick, but Lemons doesn't give up on it. Savage played it well in the end, able to float the handball back to Brown. Sinclair to Weller. Good long handball. Gives his teammate a chance. Billings has to drop it on the boot in the end. Improvised pretty well. Good contest made up forward by Battle. Then he has to track down Joyce. Just got the handball away in time. Ballard! Did he get a fist to it?
Oh.
Umpire says play on.
Saints supporters aren't happy, and probably rightly so. They're not going to be happy with this now.
Lynch gets the free kick and plays on quickly. Not a lot to kick to for Lemons. There was only 1 target and he found him. Day on the lead. Now they surge inside forward 50. Witt's a big presence. Went over his head. Sexton tapped it away from Nunes.
Oh, big Witsy.
Didn't want that one. And Nunes follow-up effort.
It's not on your playbook to go low to the knees of a ruckman when he's about 7 foot tall.
At pace.
Who just got back to his feet as well after coming underneath it. Couldn't quite get the legs readjusted in time. Big Jared Witts. He's 3rd in hit-outs per game this year, behind a couple of guns. And Sandilands and Gawn. Well done, Carlisle.
Yeah, very well done, Carlisle. Just stronger in the body, able to hold off Sam Day.
Ross kicks to a 2-on-1 situation. Able to take it on the chest is Ballard. Told to play on after moving off the line, and that's what led to the turnover, really. The rush kick from Ballard.
Yeah, it wasn't a good kick. He's an inexperienced player. He's kicked it to a 2-on-1 at a dangerous spot for a turnover. But the Saints aren't moving the ball quickly. They've gone straight into protection mode, whereas the Gold Coast are just taking every opportunity to move the ball at pace.
You feel like they need another 1 or 2 before the break?
Oh, they do. You can just see the anxiety they're playing with. Look, they're very good in most aspects of the game in the first quarter. Down on the scoreboard, things have started to swing the Gold Coast Suns' way as far as disposals, contested possessions are balanced up, clearances are balanced up, where the Saints were well and truly in front in that first term.
Tapped away by Swallow. Well done, Longer at ground level to Steele. His last inside 50 was effective. Dunstan won't quite sit for him. Look at the frustration. That sums up where the Saints are at right now.
Well, it's where they're at today and where they're at for the season. Just playing with angst. They do appear like they're in survival mode at this stage.
They're getting a lot of big numbers on possessions, but not many possessions that are counting inside that forward 50. And kicking it inside that forward 50.
Frustration from Dunstan led to that long delay, so the Suns could get a lot more numbers back, and now they can work their way out effectively. Ballard to Harbrow. He might get a little cook for that. Dunstan. Well done by Rice. Forced it quickly. His soccer found the mark in Nunes, and he gives it up to Archie. Lemons.
That's great work from Jared Harbrow. Just the pace and intensity that he went at that tackler. Oh, that tackle. Fantastic work. Sometimes when you overcommit, you can drop off the tackle and be in all sorts of strife, but he held it.
Oh, great rise from Martin. Doesn't he elevate? That vertical leap is something to savour.
It was a great block by Tom Lynch for him as well. He didn't quite drag it down, but he's an exciting player, Jack Martin.
Someone's done for holding the ball here. St Kilda player.
In fact, it must have been Day that did the block.
Ainsworth. Bowes trying to work his way to front position. The spoil came from Brown. Bowes goes again, and it sits for him. He's got time to straighten up. St Kilda get away with one there. They were so sloppy and lackadaisical.
Well, it's an area of Bowes' game that can improve dramatically, and that's in and around the goals. He's had a couple of cracks today. Seen him through the season. Where he's going to get much better at it, I'm sure, as he gets a bit more mature.
So Ross leading possession getter on the ground now with 18. Nunes. And that will lead to another turnover. Swallow. Able to find his man. Weller, tough angle.
Tough shot from here. The wind's blowing the ball away from the goal, so he's going to have to sort of somehow execute one to slide in by aiming at the left goal post.
Is he also having a little backup plan about trying to give it off? He is going for home.
It's a good try.
Poster. It looked so unlikely, but he gave it a good ride. 9 goals 7, plays 4 goals 6. Ross goes long. Ballard over the top.
Look at the numbers. They've kicked it to a 2-on-4. Fortunately for St Kilda, the free kick was given away, but that could easily have just come straight back in. Big chance here for the Saints now to get forward and take just a bit of pressure off with another goal.
Savage goes long. Rice in plenty of space. Just shields his eyes from the light tower. Battle. And killed over the top by Thompson. His spoils are going to work their way into Danny Frawley's little catalogue of highlights.
Yeah, he'd be enjoying this. Wouldn't be enjoying the scoreline, though. Here's the disposals, as we've told you. It's well and truly from an individual perspective in favour of the Saints, but they're not getting the job done with those disposals.
High tackle, but advantage will come. Steele over hits his first target, and as a result, Mark's taken out the back by Leslie.
Smart coaching by Stewie Dew. Understanding the position with only 40 seconds of play remaining. He pushed it the extra behind the ball. Harbrow, and he did it really well.
Defensive unit holding up very well, considering they're missing the co-captain Stephen May out with that ankle problem.
Well, it was a big marker, Leslie's, who's showing some maturity beyond his years.
Bowes again gives it up to Clark. Is there time?
Just.
Not now, you wouldn't think. Not a lot to kick to from Membry. One more option down the line. Siren will sound very shortly. Weller goes. Mark needed to be taken. And Ballard affects the spoil. What a half for the Gold Coast Suns. They have responded to the beltings against Geelong and the Giants, but St Kilda They're still in the mire, and there's some niggle at the main break as well. We've seen a bit of that throughout the afternoon and into the evening so far. Can St Kilda hit back on behalf of their coach in the second half? Right now, they trail by 31 points. Nick Del Santo.
Down here with Dave Swallow. Dave lost a lot of those things statistically, but going inside forward 50, very efficient, must be pleasing.
Yeah, that's it. We need to tidy it up around the footy, and they're specialists in the contested ball and clearance, especially centre clearances. So, yeah, but once we get in there, the forwards are doing their job. So.
And you're getting a lot of attention from Jack Steele. How's that going?
Yeah. No, he's got a bit of a motor on him, so just trying to work through that. But yeah, all good.
Playing very well. Good luck for the second half.
Cheers, mate.
As I'm joined by Alistair Lynch, as I just said, a lot of statistics are going in the favour of the Saints, but the way that the Suns are using the ball, and particularly going inside forward 50, I think that's been the difference so far.
Well, the Suns are doing a lot right. Certainly they have to react to the loss of clearances, loss of contested ball. This next half of football, it's massive for the Saints. Your old team under enormous pressure. It's been a massive week. If they lose this, it's going to be a huge week for the Saints.
Sure, it's going to be a big second half, no doubt about that. Back to you, Brenton Speed.
Yes, Alan Richardson.
It is all aboard the Suns train, and the kids will be loving what they're seeing. The Suns lead by 31 points, and here's Nick Del Santo with their coach, Stewie Jew.
Well, Stewie, the ball movement very pleasing. What was your message to the boys to continue that and not probably go back into their shells?
Yeah, I think we've got to keep taking on. It hasn't come off, like we didn't quite get the reward, but 10 shots on goal was a good result for us. So we know they're going to reset. We had to do the same, and it's not just going to happen.
And pleasing the way that Tom Lynch is playing. Looks like he's a lot freer up and back.
Yeah, he's had a good couple of weeks on the track and presented well. Helps when the delivery's like that, so we've helped him out a bit more.
And did you address the clearances, getting smashed in that particular area?
Yeah, we have. We talked about it, but it looks a lot worse. You know, centre bounce has been terrible by numbers, but we've actually score launched off the back of that, so it's a fine line between soaking it up and changing it.
Good luck for the second half.
Thanks, mate.
Well, they get the first clearance at the start of the second half. Witts, what about his kick?
Oh, the big man. And that is just what they were talking about. They're well down on clearances, but that is a nice pass from the big ruckman.
Not just the first clearance, but their first centre clearance. It's 13-0 at half-time, so they've got their first. And the clearances have been unusual, as Stewie said. It's 24-8 across the ground. But the Saints have kicked just 3 points from that total domination, and the Suns have already kicked 2 goals, 1. This goes through. Adds salt into the wound.
When he misses left. Is it going to get the journey? Time to rise in the goal square off hands for a minor score. His first blemish this evening.
A really good start for the big man. Had a shot in the first quarter from similar sort of range from the other side of the 50-metre arc.
They've just got to go forward now, St Kilda. I mean, they have absolutely dominated possession, and yet they are stuffing around with it that much. They're going in so slow that it's almost impossible for a forward to operate.
Steele drags it. Gave his man a chance, but Membry couldn't complete the mark. Around the corner goes Weller. How good's that down the line to Archie?
You're spot on, Jared. Their entries are slow. Actually, leg speed slow. They haven't got a quick team coming off half-back. And the polar opposite is the likes of Archie.
Geez, they're moving the ball well.
And Sexton can just play on around McKenzie. One to chase in the pocket. They'll keep it in. Little backhand and the sock goal! Off the post and in.
Yes.
Let's hope that's what the Socceroos are doing later.
Very great build-up there. Jack Martin knew exactly what was going to happen. The tap-in board from Miller. Just couldn't quite finish on that angle.
Secondary kick out going towards that man again, and Weller takes the mark. He was that close to one of the sensational goal, wasn't he?
So this is the slow ball movement. Just not finding any space, and certainly no run.
He's been a regular link in the chain, hasn't he, Jack Steele? Armitage does go eventually. Good handball. Allowed Nunes to keep on rolling. He got a shout from Ross. Forced to take on the kick and battle. Held off his man. Ballard went at it. There's the soccer goal at the other end. Take battle to Kazan.
Amazing what happens when you go forward, Lynchy. You sometimes get the ball in and give yourselves a chance to score, and on that occasion they had a one-on-one. Battle comes in to do the deal. This was a mistake, though, by the Suns. They didn't have the runners coming back, but finally they get a kick to a one-on-one.
Yeah, good run from behind. And it puts the defence under enormous pressure. Jack Bowes wants a review. Nothing in it, though, by the look of it.
So 2 goals in consecutive weeks for Josh Battle.
He looks a player and a half, and he'll look even better if that ball goes in there a little bit more swiftly. The first half, they had a stack more possessions, in fact 20 more possessions, but were minus 350 metres gained. They just have got the ball and gone sideways every time. They've got to attack and have a decent crack at it.
Ball hung in the air a long time, but Bowes couldn't get there before Ross, who just chips it. Stevens running around, getting plenty of it, and taking the man on the mark on. Big chance here. Armitage, they didn't pick him up, and he accepts the birthday gift.
Well, he was standing 5 metres by himself for a couple of seconds there. In the end, there was a last-ditch effort to get in on a spoil, but Armitage just sat there all by himself. Elevated kick in, and a good mark in the end under some pressure. Here's the kick from Stevens. This is what you want to see. Get around, carry the ball that extra distance. Nice work from Armitage.
Well, his first appearance since round 9, when he had just 8 touches against the Pies. 30 today, and he sprays it.
They've kicked the last 2 goals, St Kilda. Just really need to keep putting the pressure on the Suns. Conversely, the Suns can't go back in their shells. They've been very good the way they've used the ball in the first half.
Kicked 5 goals, 5 to 1 goal 4 in that second term into the breeze, which has died down a little during that half-time break. So not as much a factor now as it was early in the game.
Mavwella started his career on the Gold Coast here.
Yeah, played in the Suns' first ever win against Port.
For memory, he was one of the first players actually signed as a 17-year-old to the Gold Coast Suns. Luke Russell was the other boy from Burnie that signed on.
And that brought Lockie to town as well, didn't it?
It did.
Whole family moved up with Mav. Here's Steele. Armitage just drops it out, and the umpire says, that's against you. Witts plays on quickly. They work a little 2-on-1 situation. Miller and Archie. A late whistle, but they can take the advantage. Sexton, a couple of bounces. Must go for home. He's got another one, Alex Sexton, in goal-kicking form tonight. And they are chasing Jack Stephen all the way to the interchange bench.
Yeah, well, Jack Stephen pushed over and gave Alex Sexton a bit of a bump after he kicked the goal. And a few of the Suns' teammates flew the flag and took off after Stephen. But nice finish. We just see the build-up again.
It's a contrast, isn't it? Slow versus quick.
Witts, again, the awareness to give the ball quickly. And here's the nice composure again. Now, he's had to carry and take 2 bounces, but enough composure to settle and shoot. And too often, conversely, we've seen with St Kilda, they've mucked those chances up. That was a really good finish from Alex Sexton once again.
7 disposals and 3 goals straight for Sexton. Longer brings it down. That time Lyons got to Dunstan, ensured they couldn't get the clearance first time around. He has another go, Dunstan. Crashing in is Ainsworth, and 4 Saints converge on him. Witts couldn't quite get to the boot to it because Schoenfeld took it off his teammate's boot. And now Carlisle, a bit of space for the veteran.
Still a bit of a blue in the middle of the ground. Ross and Ben Ainsworth.
Ross eventually extricates himself, and Ainsworth might have picked up a little problem downstairs. Oh, good mark by Weller.
He can kick a footy.
That's a really good mark.
Looked like he started out rising for a spoil, perhaps, and then he thought, I can take the mark at the end of it all, and dragged it down.
In his primary role, putting that defensive pressure on in the forward half, but can kick goals. And there's Ainsworth just disappointed with what happened in the middle of the ground, not happy at all. Mav Weller needs to convert this opportunity for the Saints against his old team.
3 goals so far this season. Does hit it beautifully. Will it bend back at the end of its journey? No.
And just a quick one, boys. I think there's been a report in the centre of the field. That was Nathan Brown and Ainsworth, and as he's coming from the ground, it was actually Tom Lynch that told him to get off the ground. He pushed him just gently, nothing too aggressive in it, and just said, mate, time for you to go off.
Well, we've got a pretty good press on here from the Saints, but they've got to somehow try. They're going to get back into this game, get some repeat entries, get some turnovers, and get a couple of cheap goals.
Lynch made a contest between two Saints.
It's spot on. In past weeks when Lynch has been a little down, in a 2-on-1 situation, he just gets outmarked. As Ben Ainsworth has a spell, but Tom Lynch did enough to bring the ball down, cause a stoppage, so his team can reset.
Dunstan took the tackler on, and Lyons is sticking the tackles tonight, isn't he? He's the leading tackler for the Suns.
It's been a really big improvement and inclusion for them, but they need Ainsworth just to get his head right, whatever it is that is upsetting, get relaxed, because they've got limited resources through the middle, and he's an important one.
Plenty of holding going on here, and the umpire has no choice but to pay the free kick to Young, who goes quickly and missed his mark. Keeping alive is Swallow. Rice unable to take it past Swallow.
Missed opportunity there. He was well and truly open, Tom Lynch. He'd put on a great lead, but the ball sailed over the top.
After the Young free kick, he might have milked that one. He might have locked the St Kilda's defender's arms around his waist, but drew the free kick.
Almost for Young. Off the ruck work from Witts. Another tackle from Young. He didn't let Sinclair get out of there, and the umpire says no prior for young Sinclair.
And as we said through in the first half, it's not just the tackling numbers, it's tackling intensity and the pressure, the lack of time that St Kilda has been given. Numbers are pretty equal, or pretty even as far as tackles are concerned, but plenty of great intensity from the Suns.
Ross was slick, wasn't he, to open up some space for his teammate to get it out of defensive 50 initially. Now Battle, not a lot to kick to, turns it over to Harbrow.
Pretty good defence there by St Kilda. They've covered the outlet player.
Well, that's the last 2 times they've done that. They've been set up defensively really well.
So the former Docker, Weller, goes long. Up he goes! Lynch over the top of everyone. Such a great sign for Gold Coast when he's flying like that.
Well, he promised you, Lynchy, that he was going to do it, and he's delivered.
He has. He's thrown himself at the contest, working really hard at ground level. It's good to see him actually be able to launch at the contest. Got a fair chunk of this one. Jumping off that left leg. And he's had enough of that. It's a good grab.
What do you guys say when you greet one another?
Go, Lynchy. There you go.
Lynchy. And here is Tom Lynch. A shanker. Long way wide. Doesn't even make the distance. So he's had a couple of shots from that angle. Hasn't fitted his eye just yet. Carlisle gets a little 1-2 going. And running out of room in the end.
Good pressure from Lemons. I mean, you can just see they're inspiring each other with their chase and the harassment. Here's the mark. Wasn't followed by a similar quality kick.
And a bit of a shank. His first 2 shots at goal this quarter.
Lyons able to float one down towards his key forward. Lynch had another crack at it. Follow-up work, and there's no way he's getting out of there.
Nathan Brown is very slow getting off the deck here. He's very sore after that contest with Lynch.
Pride hurt a little as well, with Lynch climbing up a knee onto his shoulder for that mark a moment ago.
Whistle.
Another St Kilda player down. It's been a physical contest. Actually, Jack Martin signalling to the umpire to stop play, as there are some concerns there.
Rice in a bit of bother. He doesn't know where he is, I don't think. We may not see him for the rest of the night. They've copped a head knock during that last little passage of play, or is he looking further? He's already lost one, and a key man. Webster did not last long.
Stretcher out, guys. Bailey Rice.
Not good at all.
Webster gone, and unfortunately Rice is going to join him here. There'll be 2 men down. The Saints trying to come from behind. 5 goals the deficit right now. Lot of niggle between these 2 teams tonight. Now they separate them.
It was a good idea, and not sure whether the Saints players felt there was something untoward.
Just a head clash.
Yeah, there's nothing in that at all, and Jack Martin was the first to realise and signal to the umpire to stop play. Here's the head clash again with Martin.
Oof.
So not good for young Rice.
I guess his 5th game of senior footy tonight, Bailey Rice. He looks a lot older than he's 21 years of age. That's stocky build. And taking every precaution right now, but hopefully just a head knock and a minor concussion, but he's out of the equation for the rest of tonight.
Yeah, he just looked dazed when he was trying to get up. So
it's a big challenge now, Lynchy, for the Saints. Webster down. Rice is also down.
A huge challenge.
2 players lost. They're well down on the scoreboard. It's going to take an enormous fight back.
Here's the head clash again, Rice and Jack Martin. Totally accidental.
He had no other he had no other opportunity. He had to go and attack him.
Yeah.
No other alternative. It's just an unfortunate accident.
And St Kilda just can't take a trick tonight.
Let's get down to Nick.
Well, that's the second player for St Kilda off at this stage of the game. Of course, Jimmy Webster went off at the 6-minute mark of the first quarter with a right adductor. They're 2 players down now, and they are under the pump. Now, the only way you can make this a positive is you can put players in different positions. The first thing I'd love to see is put Jack Billings to half-back flank. Allow him to use his best ability, and that's by foot.
Young trying to stretch for it, and it's paddled through in the end by Stephen.
It is a real challenge for the players. You see a couple of your teammates go off the ground. In particular, you see one carried off the ground. Must lift.
Big long kick right down the corridor. St Kilda chasing the game.
He's going to play this against Michael Rischitelli.
No attempt to get it out. And Weller plays on quickly to Clark on the outside. One for Carlisle to chase. He dropped it and can't keep it in, can he? Wow. Boundary umpire says he did enough. Tough to judge on that angle, of course. Boundary umpire was well positioned. Rischitelli gets it away to Harbrow this time. Bowes back to Weller under pressure. Had an out in Thompson. Down the line. The hands of Schoenfeld nearly. Bowes the follow-up. He's got some time. He's got some poise in traffic, doesn't he, Jack Bowes? Lynch v Carlisle again. Young keeping his feet. Lynch trying to work it his way. Did Savage drag it in? Lynch eventually. There was no way out that time.
Seb Ross, the disposal high for St Kilda on 22. Jared Lyons with 16. 9 of those in the second term.
Fabulous ruck work from Longer to set up that clearance again, but
it's a brave switch.
Harbrow couldn't complete the mark. The free kick paid for the front-on contact from Weller.
Very brave switch. Lucky to get away with that one.
I agree with you, Lynchy, but I tell you what, the Suns have done that all night.
Yep.
And they've hit the scoreboard so much more efficiently because they've been prepared to move it quickly and instinctively.
Kick.
And again, they sliced them up with the handballs through the middle, and Sexton finds Lynch for another crack on this angle.
That overlap run and the handball on the 45, 10 metres out into space. And again, this time was Sexton. Good build-up from Miller. Nice hands to Sexton, and then great finish again. Now, Tom, he sprayed the last 2.
They haven't gone into his category for behinds, though. He's still sitting at 3 goals straight on the stats because they didn't make the distance. And from this angle, he bats it better than 50%, as you see. This part of the ground at all grounds around Australia. But now he's 8 goals, 8 from that part of the ground.
Set shot history includes all shots over all of your career, but it doesn't factor in the last 20 minutes where you've missed a couple. And all
the pressure's building.
The monkey on your shoulder turns into a gorilla.
Well, especially when your club's under enormous pressure and you've got your foot on the throat of the opposition. Just got to finish off your good work.
Austin tries to get the penetrating kick going. Carlisle will be paid the mark.
It's a good mark from Carlisle. It's a good battle, and he's hanging in there.
Just again, slow, just looking long up the line.
Billings will be the target. Good work rate from him to present.
There's no attempt to really get into the corridor, into that centre. Looking now, but again, forced down the line.
Waits it for McCartan. Slow and steady for the Saints, and they need to get a roll on. That's what we saw from them last year, the ability to kick a lot of goals in a row. Get on a hot streak. Can't see it coming right now, and that's just an up and under, and two Suns had the choice to work it out, and Ballard was called back into it.
Yeah, it was an up and under kick. You still like to see a St Kilda forward get to that contest.
He's a good kid, Ballard. He's putting his hand up for a nomination for the Rising Star right now.
McKenzie gets away from Archie, takes on Bowes. Good handball inboard. Likewise, Sinclair. Dunstan straightens up and can't pull it back enough.
Well, if you're the Suns, you know you've got a two-man advantage. You want to just keep on pumping and keep on making them chase and turn this into as big an athletic event as you possibly can. Try and break them physically. They're struggling mentally at the present time with the pressure of expectation.
Carlisle got a shove there from Lynch. Maybe played a part in the way that mark was spilt. Now Lynch, clever. Great peripheral to see Bowes. Now Young leading his man to the ball. Allowed Austin to kill it over the top.
Yeah, great. It's been a great contest, Carlisle and Lynch. Yeah. And really good effort from Carlisle to get front position. Here's the score sources that you've been touching on, Jared.
Well, the amazing thing is the stoppages. The Gold Coast have had 5 scoring shots from stoppages, and yet they've been absolutely flogged in that area.
Well, Bowes was about to get the entry until the free kick went St Kilda's way. Stephen asking for 50 there. GRC was walking the tightrope.
Less has been paid.
Now advantage is paid to Gresham. Goes quickly to Weller, who keeps his feet and should be able to scoot away from Harbrow if it sits. Boundary umpire again.
Great play. Made a mistake, overcommitted, got back onto the ball, and really good smother, Jared Harbrow.
There's Ainsworth coming in again.
Yeah, Ainsworth just needs to settle down a little bit. The game's in control. And Jared Harbrow has been one of the great players for this footy club.
Sinclair able to get it to Armitage. Not a lot to go to. Harbrow again right on cue.
And he's having a big night tonight.
The former Western Bulldog out of Cairns in North Queensland. Bounce favoured Archie. Well, he was trying to show a little bit too much to McKenzie, who came in and drove him across the boundary line.
Suns keeping the Saints at arm's length here. This would be hard viewing for passionate Saints supporters at home and here at the ground. Just not putting a dent in the Suns at the moment.
Well played by Stephen. He looks inboard. He doesn't see anything he likes. Takes on Toot Miller. Easier said than done. Got it to Gresham just. 3-on-1 here. Leslie, one of the spares, able to take them up.
Yeah, long bomb in the forward line. We've seen this and we've spoken about it all night. I actually did like the idea of Jack Stevens having a crack and trying to play on, trying to break the lines, but the bomb kick, they're getting no reward whatsoever.
Every club that is coaching against the Saints would be prepared for that kid.
Yeah.
You can see just 4 players sitting back waiting for it then.
Almost from a forwards point of view, you need to go to a defensive mindset. Actually spoil the ball. You can't afford to continually be outmarked in that area of the ground.
McKenzie coming into the game more. So's this guy, Sinclair. Goes back to Carlo and misses him.
Yeah, just sloppy.
He's struggling at the moment, Sinclair. He's had a couple of good games this season. Fortunately for him in recent times, but started the season slowly after a really good year last year.
Yeah, just it's a 10-metre kick. Missed the target.
Kicking efficiency at 67% for the Saints, 73 for the Suns. Battle, incorrect disposal. Can't quite take the delayed advantage there. Callum will have to go back to the man who earned the free kick.
Again, a little bit of anger spilling over. David Armitage managed to fall on his opponent.
Well, they don't want to get sucked in here, the Suns. They've got the game exactly where they want it. They just need 2 or 3 more, and they will put the Saints out of this game completely, and they'll have a field day in the last.
Off hands, Holman out the back, a little dribbler.
Oh, yeah.
What a finish from Holman. Hasn't kicked too many in his AFL career. That was some kind of finish.
Well, there's two real big stories brewing here. One about the future of the Gold Coast Suns and how they were going to respond after being really disappointed after a massive first half of the season on the road. But the other story that is growing is around the Saints. They have played tonight. There's been no passion. They were winning the clearances and they were winning contested ball, but there was no zip about the team. They're slow, they're predictable, and they just look like there's no passion about the club.
And the hook today in Mark Robinson's article in the Herald Sun was the fact that there's a bye coming up for the Saints. Their next game isn't until July 1. And when Brett Ratten came here with Carlton, there was a bye coming up. They lost against the Suns in a disappointing, deflating loss, and Ratten was gone. Yeah, well, you don't want to see any club get into this situation. The reality is it does happen. They're at breaking point right now. It's 39 points down against one of the poorer teams in the competition over the last 10 weeks. Dunstan has to go backwards to Ross. He tries to kick it to the advantage of Battle, who's got McCartan over the top. But getting first to the ball was Leslie with a clever little tap to the advantage of Harborough. Ross gets it again, 2-on-1 with Clark. Did that go far enough? Nowhere near it. That's gone 4 metres. He's paid it. That's just to reinforce how well the Suns are going tonight.
Again, though, the Saints kick it long into a 2-on-4 situation. Almost impossible unless you hit right on the chest to win that ball. Nick Del Santo, down to you.
Well, I look at the amount of football that the Saints have had all day, and I'm looking for some leadership, and it's shown in different forms. Armitage, Dunstan, Seb Ross, all these guys have played enough football to be able to communicate a message so when they do go forward, it's in a better manner than it has been for 2.5 quarters. Just not happening at this point.
McCartan down low, back to Stephen, had his legs white from underneath him. Advantage paid to Armitage, on to Ross. Here's Savage, the former Hawk. One bounce, the kick to the advantage of memory. They should get one here. And boy, do they need it.
Well, therein lies the blueprint for what's on the board. You've got an extra player at the stoppage, therefore you get free exit from the clearance, and you go forward into a one-on-one or an outnumber if possible. But that's about the first time we've seen it really come to effect.
That speed and spread from the contest out into space and an unpressured forward 50 kick.
Looking to make it 10 straight without a miss. Membry does finish it off for his first of the evening, and the Saints are still alive just.
Well, despite their total domination of clearances all night, that's their first goal from the clearance.
Here's a free kick, chop of the legs against Young, but play on from Armitage just to get out into that space. This is a nicely weighted kick from Savage, just over the top of Rory Thompson.
That was just the 10th disposal for Savage. Has been averaging 22 so far this year, and that was the furthest forward he's been, getting his hands on it too.
Plays an important role in the team off half-back. When they're up and going, you need the players like Shane Savage to be carrying the ball.
Great stat for Weller, isn't it, to lead the metres gained category. Up over 570. Oh, Martin too slow, and his opposite number got him.
Yeah, well done.
Lynchy, would you like to see Alan Richardson even up the numbers in defence? Oh, sorry, in their forward half?
Has to, or you put one of your keys here in a defensive role.
Back goes Armitage, over the back, he might get there.
Yeah, that bloke that knocked that ball over was the extra.
Yeah.
He was allowed to go for the fly, and probably Riccitelli, if he had his time again, he wouldn't go for the fly, but he recovered magnificently.
At least St Kilda got the ball on the ground. It wasn't a defensive 50 mark.
Taking some time off the clock here, late in the third term. With that big lead, the Gold Coast Suns. Clark led the race to the ball, slipped out of the tackle, found a teammate as well in Battle.
Even numbers forward of the ball this time.
McCartan, up he goes. One-handed effort initially. Dunstan found a little bit of room. Around the corner he goes, and it's killed over the top.
That's great defence by Riccitelli. Been a veteran of this club. He's been an absolute stalwart. Led through thick and thin. He's mainly been thin, but he's been a terrific player for them.
Came back from that ACL, of course, last year. Now Weller slapped it to Stephen. Weller applying the tackle
Quite a push
into his back.
Didn't seem to be a lot in it, but regardless, Jack Stephen will have a shot here. Kick this one before three-quarter time. Maybe there's still a strong heartbeat.
Weller looking around for a replay. There's nothing going up on the big screen just yet, so he can't debate it any further. He bit his tongue as well. He knows a 50 makes it a certain goal. It's still a tough shot here from Stephen. He's going to give it a little bit of check. Stephen opens up the angle and bends it near side. Goal there would have been handy.
Let's have a look at replay here. Just Lockie Weller. I think Jack Stephen might have gone forward. Happy with that one, Jared?
No, I thought that was a Stephen move. I think he tried to turn his body.
Good pluck over the top from Nunes.
Sideways, has options, but a little further out.
A little late with the release on that kick. Little nudge in the back, got away with it. Ballard, his kick didn't go too far. Hacked out of there in the end by Harbrow, and it should come back from Nunes.
He'll probably not try the same thing. The bomb to the top of the goal square.
McCartan the target.
Push
he got
out.
a little nudge.
Dead set push out against McCartan, but
Well, once again,
unrewarded.
they're kicking to where they're outnumbered. Just must get the ball to ground or go in short. Try to hit up the kick to get to 45 or 40 metres out.
It's not McCartan's strength, though. His strength is on the lead. He's not a stand and leap sort of player.
Well, I certainly hope the deep forwards have been instructed to stand deep, because that's all they're doing. They're not leading.
The Gold Coast Suns are in control. Can Richo spark a final quarter comeback? We're about to find out. It's the Suns by 31 at the final change.
A piece in that last term, given the fact that they're down 2 men, it was a pretty fair effort by the Saints, but they just can't afford to equalise. They've got to find a way forward, but there's a really big opportunity here for the Gold Coast. They've had a similarly tough week.
Stewie Dew just checking the numbers. They've got the spare down back Gold Coast with this very handy buffer. As the final term gets underway, another clearance coming up for Stephen. Goes sideways. Schoenfeld leading the race. Sinclair hot on him. And Martin came in as support. Had to give it up to Sinclair in the end. And it won't come out second time around.
Another centre clearance win for St Kilda. No damage done.
Yeah, they won the inside 50 count last week, St Kilda, against the Swans. Still lost by 71. Weller. Decent game from him against his brother. The two brothers coming together there as Maverick went in on Lockie. Oh, there's the family love. Follow-up work as well.
Well, Bailey Rice has joined at the team on the bench. He's sitting in the back next to Jimmy Webster, who'll take no further part. There was that concussion. And as we know, all medicos are very, very cautious when it comes to head concussions.
Armitage holding fire and then drags the kick. Not quite on the lead was Savage. Gone forward for now. Gresham can't keep that one in.
And need plenty of movement around this forward 50 stoppage. Hasn't been a strength of theirs. We've spoken about on numerous occasions from clearances. The scoring aspect, need to get some movement. On the block, create some space.
Long of Wits again over the back. Gresham had made his move, but Harbrow went with him. Had to get rid of it. One for Gresham to chase once more. Stephen pulls it back, does the team thing. What can McCartan do with it? Ainsworth came in, ghosting across in front. There's no free kick from McCartan. The boos come from the Saints fans. Off the hands of Austin. And Sexton can afford to let it go across the boundary line.
Good work from Ainsworth to jump over the top. Had an angry quarter during that second term, mainly.
Jack Martin in the goal square. A quick kick out. He's dangerous.
Billings again. A big up and under as Witts put the pressure on. Courage from Longer. And Weller gets his hands on it once more. Young.
You're right, Jared. Isolated in the forward 50. Jack Martin on Seb Ross.
Cracking in was Holman. Put his body on the line. So did a couple of Saints who came off second best. It should go against Young. And it does. Armitage applying the tackle.
Interesting to have Seb Ross out of the midfield.
Backing back bravely. McCartan came the other way. He threw it in the end.
I think what happened, Jack Martin was in the middle of the ground and dragged Ross forward. He can't hand over at this stage. He'll be looking to get out of the last line of defence very quickly.
Ballard plays with swagger. So does this guy. Ainsworth took Gaz's old number when Ablett took the homecoming journey back to Geelong. Ainsworth took the number 9. Goes long down the line. Lynch gets there. Armitage tried to slap it back towards Billings or Ross. And Billings into the back in the end. And the umpire gives the benefit of the doubt that time. They had it down inside forward 50 for a little while. St Kilda couldn't get the first goal of the opening final term just yet. Steele takes some weight off it. Allowed Battle to get there. Ballard came over the top. Battle went again. Out of bounds on the full.
Just don't seem to have a spark. The Saints, you just don't feel they can break this game or get the game back on their terms and kick back-to-back goals quickly.
Well, they won in round 1 against the other team from Queensland. They got the better of the Lions, but haven't won since St Kilda.
Oh, just put his head down.
Good umpiring then as Battle got the benefit of the doubt and the free kick for holding the ball.
And probably reasonable, I would have thought.
That is dangerous stuff from Lemons. Self-inflicted wound.
Yeah, just tried to break open that tackle. Head down. This is a risky switch, but good to see. There's the Lemons charge and
yeah.
He dropped his head, got a high contact, but
you've got to be careful doing that, though.
That
can end up in a very nasty incident.
Well umpired as well.
And they've got to keep moving the ball here, St Kilda. Just can't be stagnant and forced down the line. Need to go quick. That's a good kick.
That finds Membry on a long lead. He's looking for McCartan, who's got off the chain as well. But who do they kick to next? When Membry and McCartan are used and they only get it to centre wing, who's the target down forward? Steele's there. And so is that man, Battle.
Yeah, well done. They were 40-metre lower passes, forcing the forward to come up at the ball. Good marks. And Battle did enough.
He's been impressive today, Lynch. He's really worked his way into the game. He's taken a couple of good grabs, kicked a goal.
Come from a few metres back and just threw himself at that ball. Good launch.
A chance to double his career tally of goals in the one game. He had 3 coming in. Can he make it 3 for the afternoon? They do have the first of the final term, and there is life for St Kilda.
Well, you've got to get back-to-back in this situation.
Yep.
And right now, the Gold Coast, in some ways, are playing into their hands because whilst they haven't put the cue in the rack, they just haven't played that same attacking style of football. Partly to do with St Kilda better defensively, but they haven't taken opportunities to attack and run and link up like they did in the first half. But a nice work from young Battle. 3 goals, it's a big effort.
They've dominated centre clearances, St Kilda. Love to see it, some attack off the wing to get the handball received if they can, again, get a clearance.
Longer. Great tap to the advantage of Stephen, but Miller was able to run him down. Now it's all Suns out on the wing. Martin gets his head up, looking for Lynch. off his shoulder. On the follow-up was Holman. He has a man running through the middle of Sexton. It went all the way through to Lemons, who gets a free kick this time.
Yeah, he put his head down again, Lemons. This time he was tackled too high, but that was good attack on the ball by a number of Suns players there. Off the half back line again, though.
Yeah.
It's not a question of if they can win a centre clearance, Lynchy. We know they're not going to win the centre clearance. It's a question of whether they get the ball back off the half back line. The Suns have done it so often.
From the Saints' point of view, you need to see them coming off the wing to give some support, get into space when they have such a dominance in the centre of the ground. Great attack, as you said, from Archie and then Sean Lemons. High contact. Been a very handy inclusion.
Yeah, for the first time all season, they have missed him. Lemons returns. Can't convert, doesn't even register.
All the Suns were actually pushed down. Sorry, none of the Suns had pushed down. They just expected to go straight over their heads.
They won't make that mistake again. The former defender. Oh, it's a 50-metre penalty.
Well, Billings had played on. If they stick to form the umpires, he played on twice there, went off the line, and the umpire said he never played on, and Ainsworth gave away the 50. Now Brown hasn't had many opportunities to drop it on the boot. Finds McCartan. Long lead coming from Membry. McCartan saw him a little late, wants to go further. Longer was deep, Battle was coming late. And Harbrow, how often does he get it out the back? Maybe a fumble of convenience.
He rarely fumbles, but I think that was a genuine one. Once again, he's been extremely good, Jared Harbrow. Looked to get a handle on that and kept him in front importantly.
St.Kilda fans optimistically asking for a free kick. Crashing through the birthday boy, Armitage.
Great attack at the ball and aggressive.
Just again, though, he was allowed just to do it as he pleased. We'll take a look at it again, I'm sure. But they've got some work to do, clearly, the Suns on their stoppages.
Ahead of next week's trip to Tassie to take on the Hawks. Savage on the up for Mackenzie. Great smother. Came in from Young. Lynch was looking for him and threw it, though. When you go with the outside of the right fist that way, the umpire was...
It's actually hard to do.
It's the right call. Carlisle. Top of the square, the target. McCartan asking for a free kick. The follow-up kick going towards the boundary line. They can keep it in. Sinclair. Look at the tackle from Lemons getting back inside defensive 50 this time.
Well, all their players are now pushing up to try and help their defence. The Suns are working back into defensive 50. The only issue with that is if they do get the ball out, they'll have minimal numbers to kick to.
Longer got there late to provide the ruck contest. Armitage given the benefit of the doubt there. A little push on Sinclair and short. He couldn't pull it back enough. Eventually they get a stoppage out of it.
Must score from this forward 50 stoppage.
Still plenty of time. 4 straight goals the difference. More than half of the final term to go. Dunstan, great tenacity shown by Martin to get the tackle in and create the turnover. Riscatelli, not a lot to kick to. Buys a little time. Puts it out in front of Young. Mackenzie's shown good dash. In the last few minutes, Billings over the top. He was taken late. Advantage paid. Savage finds a man. It's Armitage again.
They are just opening up the door here, the Suns. They're not working anywhere near as hard as a club should when you are +2 on the interchange bench.
They're playing a bit quicker. I would have thought Nick D'Alessandro would know better than I. This is right on David Armitage's range, later stages of his career, but a good build-up.
He'll need to arc around to the left because you're probably right, Lynchy. He's
got to tee it up
on his number.
From 48 metres, it's on the way from Armitage. He's hooked it. Stayed in briefly, but Riscatelli able to rush it through.
Well, clearly you've got to take your opportunities, but they are pressing. A couple of shots, both been from David Armitage, both misses. Need to snag one soon.
They've had the last 6 scoring shots, St Kilda. Unfortunately, it's been 2 goals 4 in that time.
Leslie. Carlisle v Lynch. Lynch tried to slap it on over the contest. Stuck the tackle on Carlisle. Goes again, does the skipper. Ross extricates it. So does Miller. And now Stephen had his legs taken, but it's alive for Sinclair. Great kick in the circumstances. McCartan gets the free kick. What can he do from the acute angle?
It's great forward pressure, Lynchy. Alan Ritchie will be filthy that they didn't display this in the first half, but they have got opportunities. They need this talented young man to go back and bang this through.
Pleasing thing, he was leading up at the ball. The ball was weighted out in front, so he had to run into it.
Banana from McCartan. He's got it.
Good on you.
They are coming, St Kilda.
Just the sort of goal they need. It's repeat entries, it's repeat efforts. It's efforts that we didn't see in the first half inside the forward 50. And they're camping there, and all of a sudden they've just twisted the psychology of this match on its head.
And it's not just a bomb, it was out in front of McCartan. That always puts pressure on the key defenders, trying to reach in for the spoil. Just lazy, just grab of the shoulder by Jack Leslie, but importantly, a really important finish from McCartan. That is a beautiful conversion from there. He's pretty happy as well, and that's this last 7 scores to the St Kilda Footy Club.
Just reminding them what pick he was in the 2014 draft.
Oh, that's a throw.
Got away with it, Dunstan. Swallow just had to turn and get it on the boot. Holman, the bounce eluded both he and Nunes. Mackenzie's having a great final term. Gets it to Nunes. Look at the smother again. The desperation from Jack Martin. One for Sexton to chase. Lynch finds a little bit of room. Goes backwards. Made it tough for his teammate. Martin again. Carlisle camped underneath it.
You've got to go. Still plenty of time, but the corridor was open.
There wasn't another link up the corridor. Had to go wide.
Now it's tough. Outnumbered back.
Thompson let it go through his hands, but the bounce favours the Suns.
They didn't have too many options for the ball. There was a couple of one-on-ones, and I think there was 3 spare Suns players behind the ball. So in the end, this is probably a good result to have a forward half stoppage.
Witts gets a free kick, does he? Longer was all over him. It's a welcome decision in favour of the home team, who haven't kicked a final term goal in a month. That's right, no goals in the final quarter for a month. Can they get one here? One for Archie to chase against 3 Saints. Didn't give up on it. And now the support comes. Lynch trying to paddle it back to the voice of Martin, and it's locked in.
They had the outnumber St Kilda. They just couldn't get a handle on it. And then I think it was Tom Lynch did enough to hold the ball in.
Witts over the top of Battle. Gresham. Risky handball back into the corridor where it's all Suns. Young, a little shanker. Carlisle eventually has to go. No chest mark that time. And he's picked up an injury.
Has he hurt himself there, Jake Carlisle? Ooh, it's very sore.
Another groin problem,
left
perhaps.
groin.
Well, Jimmy Webster. He didn't last long tonight. If you tuned in late.
Just have a look how he lands in this marking contest, but he's struggling at the moment to get back in this.
It's been hard enough to contain Lynch as it is. Now they'll try and do it on one leg for the moment. Martin got the handball away. Clark on the up. Steele trying to turn and slap it out towards Billings. Soldiering on for now is Jake Carlisle. They could snuff out the comeback with a goal here, Gold Coast. Around the corner. Helped on. Improvised soccer style. How's the kick inside 50? Just eluded the intended target. That was a throw. Umpire said it's okay. Interesting.
Plenty of players around the ball. Heaps of congestion. Pressure building on both teams. Now the margin's only 17 points.
Witts brought it down. Holman tried to shrug off a tackle or two. Again, McKenzie to Billings. Good kick to Steele.
Still outnumbered ahead of the ball. Going to have to chip it.
Battle says, kick it to me on the logo. Stephen holds fire for now. Goes to Ross. And again, the smother. Stays in for the time being. Back on the up for Steele, who saw Hunter Clark late. Can they go up the middle? McKenzie wants it ahead of Carlisle. It's hard work for Carlisle. He's able to find Brown. Membry favoured by the kick. Leading Thompson to it. He gets 50. Takes him into goal-kicking range.
Oh, well and truly in goal-kicking range. They take him to about 35 metres out. It's a massive chance as the pressure keeps building on the Suns. It's been a good 10 minutes or almost 15 minutes now from the Saints.
Why would Thompson risk that? There wasn't a lot in it, but Membry made the most of it.
He's got to make the most of this now. As you said, it's 10 straight.
Yeah, dead-eye Dick in the last few weeks. And he's pretty handy from this spot on all grounds around the country. 7 out of 10 from this spot. Deliberate approach to make the margin less than 2 straight kicks. Membry's got it. St Kilda are all over them right now.
How good's this? They cannot get near the scoreboard, the Suns. They've gone in forward 50 on numerous occasions, but just the way they've used the ball in this last 15 minutes has been much better. That's really good from Membry to get off his direct opponent. There's the free kick, just a little touch in the back. He wasn't going to try to stand up too hard. Have a look at this, the celebrations from the Saints, and in particular, Tim Membry.
Well, they'll talk about this comeback for a long, long time if they can pull it off. Look at all those scores consecutively from the Saints. 4 goals, 4 to zip. Little nudge in the back on Sexton, and he couldn't get the kick away. The extra down back comes over the top. Harbrow left it behind. Could it be a costly fumble? Swallow. He couldn't take it out cleanly. Look at them crash in. Umpire's letting it go as well as Dunstan has a second effort. Miller gets it out of there to a 1-on-1. Day brings it to ground level. Then the numbers in favour of St Kilda. So the Suns will take that, locking it in.
Absolutely, they'll take it. It was a 2-on-3 there, and they were able to neutralise and get some territory. But this is the danger. You go into save the game mode.
Yep. You
fail to score, and the pressure comes on board yourselves.
Another clearance for Ross. Flat forward by the Suns. Ballard shows poise for a teenager, finds a teammate in space, but then the turnover to Nunes.
Now the Suns' efficiency going forward has fallen apart.
Still plenty of time to get 2 more. Don't want to let one in at the other end. Ross held up for now. Little chipper. And they get off the leash again. Membry, long way from home now.
Pretty open forward line this time.
McCartan, and almost fell in his lap. That was an important late stretch by Joyce. Miller, Jesse Joyce keeps it in. Witts gets down low. Great dexterity from the big man.
It's coming straight back.
Membry. McCartan trying to open up some space inside forward 50.
10 Day has got to find something here. He's got to push up to those contests rather than being 40 metres off.
McKenzie v Martin. Tapped it back to his own advantage. Did McKenzie. Has to go again. Gets the free kick too.
Yeah.
It's all sloppy stuff right now from the Suns.
That was sloppy. Shawnee Lemons just dragged Sinclair off the ball.
Looking for McCartan. Well done, Toot Miller against the bigger man. He had front spot and made the most of it.
Just need the experience of Richatelli, Harbrow down back. There's the free kicks against Sean Lemons. Sinclair just didn't have the ball.
And the ball efficiency for the Suns has just dropped away dramatically, just 33%. The Saints' pressure could get them across the line finally.
Good smother as well. Look at the efforts. Look at the desperation that wasn't there earlier in the contest. But with the game on the line, St Kilda are getting all the calls right now too. Carlisle quickly. Great spoil to the advantage of Swallow. Miller didn't quite keep it in, but it's a boundary throw-in.
It'll be one of the all-time great wins for the Saints in recent times if you can be 5 goals down at half-time, 2 men down, and find a way just to get across the line. 5 down at three-quarter time as well.
Yep, 31 points three-quarter time. They've got the game back on their terms.
And it's all St Kilda out the back. Ross goes high. Gives the forwards a chance. They made a contest as well. Battle brought it down. And it's touched off the boot for another boundary throw.
Still, the Suns haven't scored a goal in the last quarter for a month.
And all the ball inside the Saints forward half in this final turn. 2/3 of it. Back to Gresham. Playing for a free kick. Chi was letting the umpire know. Then he gets it out to McKenzie, who caps off his superb final term. They're back within 1 straight kick. What a comeback.
They've frozen the Suns, and the Saints have come from nowhere. This has been a really good fight back. The last 9 scores have all gone to the Saints, and you near call a head count. They look like they got more players out. There was the disputed call. Half the players stopped around that contest. Here's the ball flicked out, and a nice old floater off the boot has just started to drift left to avoid the post. Down to very close game.
Well, social media may have been saying Richo's gone at three-quarter time, but now St Kilda are finishing so strongly for their coach, with his job on the line in the opinion of many.
And the sloppy free kicks continue.
Ross, 2-on-1 deep in favour of the Suns. Off hands, Martin taken out of it. Harbrow, he's lucky he's got a teammate there. Young tracks it down, and he will get the benefit of the doubt as well. The clock is not moving quickly enough for the Suns. St Kilda right back in it. What a finish at Metricon.
Oh, look at that 450 count for the last quarter. 14-5.
Lions did so well in amongst 3 or 4 Saints. Lynch was clever. Ainsworth tripped up by Clark. Not given that way, and Clark tracks it down. Hunter goes long. Weller! Not quite. Harbrow able to get a fist in there. Goes again, does Harbrow. Now Martin gets down low. Leslie had time to get it on the boot, but Savage takes it on the chest.
And set up defensively really well behind the ball. Got massed numbers back there, the Suns, trying to block this up.
They're not rushing things. They know they've got all the momentum and plenty of time, comparatively speaking. Weller on the up for Ballard. Not quite finding touch effectively. It's out in the full.
Just can't get it out of their back half at the moment. And certainly all their disposals are under pressure.
Inboard to Hunter Clark. The teenager finds his man, McKenzie. A little chipper, finds his man. Maverick Weller, who played a part in the Suns' first ever win in the AFL, has a chance to put St Kilda in front here against the Gold Coast.
He's got the distance, Del.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does. He's been a role player, a negative 40 years, trying to shut down Harbrow. This is his moment.
Maverick Weller from right on 50. Drags it a little minor score.
Well, ball movement in the first half was their one-wood, the Gold Coast Suns, and right now they need to be able to just get some territory relief.
We can actually see the anxiety just building every minute on the Suns at the moment.
Martin picks up some invaluable metres. Goes wide, Lynch getting there.
And that's exactly what they were looking for. Kick it to the boundary line and hopefully Lynch gets it across.
And Lynch has gone behind the ball. So he's pushed Jack Martin up to the contest. And Lynch is going to camp out as the spare. Jake Carlisle goes to match him up forward.
The Hearts have got to be racing, even though Alan Richardson is keeping a poker face right now. Great tenacity, Swallow. Then he throws it over the boundary line. Umpire says throw it in.
Enough doubt, but I think it was deliberate to get it over the line. That's a good move from Richardson to push Carlisle forward to match up the spare and Lynch. There's the last 10 inside 50s, all St Kilda.
Stoppage work again is horrendous for the Suns.
A high one from Mackenzie. Plenty of time to get to the contest. Brought to ground level. Alive for St Kilda potentially. McCartan puts his head down. Membry tried to hack it out of there. So did Lynch. Will it come out this time? Miller drags it in a little and we'll get a stoppage inside forward 50.
71 seconds remaining.
Nearly every player inside defensive 50 or forward 50, depending what team you're on.
Just imagine the ramifications of a straight kick or an errant kick in this last 70 seconds.
Getting it to the outside. Gresham bending it. Would you believe it? St Kilda in front with a minute to go. An incredible final quarter comeback for Richo and the Saints.
Oh, isn't it good to see the players? And again, their stoppage dominance hasn't been reflected on the scoreboard. It has on this occasion. Straight kicking, just grabbing your opportunity, taking those moments when they present themselves. And on this occasion, Gresham, and off the boot, he knew that was through. And you can just imagine the coach's box. That is outstanding.
And Richo immediately pointed, get blokes behind the ball. He wants extra numbers behind the ball, but again, the stoppage work of the Suns allowing that space between the boundary line and the hit has enabled them to now potentially just chop up 4 points.
Tim Membry 15 metres from goal in the defensive 50.
31 points down at the final change. St Kilda are in front and they surge forward again, although Harbrow will be first there. Could they finally get their goal in the final quarter and snatch it away again? Mackenzie, brilliant down the stretch for St Kilda.
Got it sun down behind.
Is it Ainsworth?
It's a bad night.
Ainsworth's down.
Umpire holding up play with Ainsworth requiring that treatment. Now we're right to go. Longer. Sinclair just goes long towards space.
Great kick.
Down to 20 seconds. Leslie desperate to keep it in. Second crack at it. Scooped it up to Harbrow. Another fumble.
What a victory.
This is a great victory. They look slow out on their feet.
What kind of reaction are we going to see from that man in 17 seconds time? Longer, that'll do it. St Kilda aren't going to lose now. McCartan gets there after Thompson dropped it. An incredible win. Richo's alive. They go into the bye on a big high, out of nowhere. The Suns blow it, and the Saints pounce. From 31 down at the final break, they claim victory, and what a clutch goal around his body from their leading goal kicker in 2018. Jay Gresham take a bow, and Richo pulled all the right strings in the final term.
Oh, what a great win for the players, the club, the fans, and the coach. I'm sure the headlines were starting to be written at three-quarter time of the ramifications of a bad loss for the Saints, but they've pulled this one out. They were good in many aspects of the day, but you just didn't see they had the run to get over the Suns. Suns went into their shell and they pounced. Took their chance late. Great goal from Gresham round his body.
It was an incredible goal, but it was again on the end of an area where They have just got to get better, the Suns. The clearance work all night was horrible. They got a little bit better in the second half, but they were absolutely given a lesson by the Saints. And on the ground, we got one of the stars.
Absolutely, the star of the night, Gresh. Talk us through that last passage of play. There was multiple stoppages. As Richard, come and join in, Richo. Richo, jump in. Oh, he's not going to... Won't speak to us at the moment. I'll talk to him later. Tell us that last passage of play. Rough work, multiple stoppages, you get on the end of one.
Yeah, I sort of teed it up with Bill, and it was still in 2 blocks, so yeah, it was good to get an end of it. Boy, extremely kick, goal to win the game, and yeah, it was good to just get back in the winners list. We've had a tough few months, and it's just good to get back. At
any stage, do you actually think that game was gone? You're down by over 5 goals at three-quarter time?
Personally, I always like to keep pretty positive, but in the rooms at half-time, we'll keep it positive. We knew we could run out the game, and yeah, it was good. We just stuck at it and got the 4 points.
Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Well done.
Cheers.
Well, again, we just saw that clearance, and they just opened out the space. They cleared out some space for that tap to go. Longer was good enough to hit it between the pack and the boundary line. Gresham got the block, as he just heard you, but it did take some rare talent to slot it through the sticks.
And that's what you need in big moments. You need someone to take that chance. The last 12 scores went to the St Kilda Football Club. Once again, no goals in the final term for the Gold Coast Suns, but it's all about the Saints. Let's go back downstairs to Nick Del Santo.
Well, I'm with tonight's captain, Seb Ross. The feeling behind, you're that excited. It's been a long time since your last win, round 1. How are you feeling?
Oh, mate, we're over the moon. We've sort of got a few young boys that probably haven't even played in a win yet, so we'll have them in the circle tonight, and yeah, it's just pure joy.
I just asked Gresh about that last passage of play. You're down by over 5 goals at three-quarter time. You're captain tonight. What is your message to the boys? It just looks so different that last 30 minutes of footy.
Yeah, well, the formula is easy for us. It's purely just our tackle pressure. We had a good first quarter where we laid 22 tackles and then had 8 tackles in the second quarter where they kicked 6 or so goals. And so the formula was easy for us, and we just really ramped it up at the end there. We knew in our last few games against West Coast where we came back late, we knew we had them on their legs and we got the win.
Tell us about the pressure even throughout this week. There's been a lot spoken. You're internal, you're at the club. How do you handle that? And then obviously come out and execute the way you did.
Yeah, well, obviously being a really young group, you sort of got to manage it a bit. You sort of got to keep it really internal. You don't want them to listen to that external noise. So we just tried to control what we can control, and that's our tackle and that's our effort. And that's what probably hasn't been there the whole year, and that's something that we're trying to work towards getting back to.
And now going into the bye, just a little bit sweeter now after a victory?
Oh, yeah. It would have been a rough week if we lost.
Good on you, Seb. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dale.
And they had to dig so deep as well. They were 2 men down for such a long time. No Webster from the opening quarter, the opening minutes.
No, it's an incredible win. Incredible win given the circumstances.
Oh, yeah. And it's understated to say it would have been a tough week going into the bye if they'd lost this one. Everyone was coming. The texts were starting to flow in. The coach is in trouble. What's happened to the club?
Yep.
But the players have hung in there. And as we said, the last 12 scoring shots to snatch a victory by 2 points in the end. A great win. These players will get plenty out of this.
Just did not get the ball inside forward 50 enough. The Suns, they shut up shop, and they shut up shop way too early. 5 inside 50s to 19 in the final term. And there's Richo consoling Jimmy Webster, who's been, if not their best, certainly on the podium for their best players this season. But his concerns will wait till tomorrow morning. It's a celebration now for the club after so many months.
And Armitage can celebrate the birthday on the coast big time now, Nicky Dowell.
Yeah, well, he's a local boy. He's been around this area as a junior. Armo, 30 today. Nice way to finish.
Yeah, mate. Good birthday present. Good surprise. It was a surprise in the end. We grinded. We knew that, we could, if we brought our energy and our legs in the last half, that we could potentially overrun them. It looked a bit far-fetched at half-time, but, oh, mate, couldn't be prouder of the boys, the way they persisted and got over the line in the end. We were a bit lucky, but we got there.
You've been in and out a little bit this year. You come in tonight, had a fantastic game, but looked like you played a lot more on ball.
Yeah, especially the first half. A bit of grunt in there. We got smashed the first quarter last week, so they sort of was set for me to go in there and get to work in and under and then try and spread from there. And then I ran out a little bit of gas in the last quarter, but and got pushed forward. But yeah, really proud of the boys.
I've already asked a couple of the other boys. I just want to make sure it's throughout the whole team. Did you ever think that you couldn't win that game?
At times through that second quarter when they kicked 5 or 6 in a row,
Yeah.
I sort of thought, oh no, I was more worried about the other guys because I know what it's like. You have to keep grinding, and we've come back from big losses before. So I know as an older bloke, you got to keep grinding, and you just got to try and lift the young blokes to believe in that. So I certainly believe, but at times I was hoping that they did as well. So it was a terrific result.
Well led. Congratulations and happy birthday.
Thanks, puppy boy.
What a win by the St Kilda Football Club. We have to get to a quick break, but don't go anywhere, Saints fans, because coming up next, one of the moments of the season, we will show you the song, and boy, will that be a sweet moment for Alan Richardson and the St Kilda Football Club. That's coming up next on Super Saturday. So the moment of 2018 for the St Kilda Football Club, who hadn't won since March. David King, what does this mean for a group that was under enormous pressure, and in particular that man, Alan Richardson?
Well, awesome performance, awesome result. What about that last 10 minutes? What about that last 90 seconds? Everyone was on the edge of their seat. Alan Richardson's a very popular man in AFL circles. We just want him to succeed so badly, but we said this time and time today, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter what the numbers say, what the clearances say, the contested possessions, there's only one thing